Good morning from Baltimore at 7:54. Today is Saturday, January 19th, according to the Washington Post. This game built on the momentum for beating NC State. Hey, is that a Torrey Smith jersey? Did the Ravens play this weekend?
Oh yeah, the Ravens play. Torrey Smith, he is now a force. How he's left out of the Pro Bowl, I'll never understand. But that doesn't matter because the Ravens are playing for all the marbles.
Right. And, you know, it's a DC show, but there's no RG3 talk today.
Wait a minute, how about John Wall?
John, yeah, he's
What a play last night.
Does that make us Mason, is that 3 for 4 with John Wall back? Or something like that. We'll check on that. Hey, for those playing at home, there's a front page from Thursday. It's Alex Len. Looks like he's calling for the ball. He hits the big basket. The Terps win. We'll be back in a couple minutes with this week's edition of Terp Talk.
Oh, what a weekend we got to this weekend, Wayne. I have to tell you that it was hard to get through the workday yesterday just thinking about what's happening this weekend. Today at high noon at the Dean Dome, Maryland has an opportunity to extend the exhilaration from the great victory the other night, and I'll call it a great victory because when you win a game on a last-second shot, it doesn't happen that often, and you beat a very, very good, if not too deep, NC State team. The Dean Dome, the Tar Heels, they're set up to play. We're set up to play them today. We can rebound with them. They're missing a couple guards. I think that we can hang with them. We need a better effort on the road, though, than we did against Miami a week ago. This is Bruce Posner with my sidekick, Mr. Wayne Viener from Viener Consulting, and Mason on the video here on Kelly and Associates Insurance Group Terp Talk. Welcome in, and of course tomorrow we have that huge Ravens game against the Patriots. Big weekend, Wayne.
It's a great weekend for sports. Maryland turning it up. They had an opportunity, finally got it going at home. It was a dramatic ending. You know, a lot of the talk was about the kids running on the court. I want to talk about the fact that we stayed in the game. It was going our way early. We had a 10-0 lead. NC State had the lead near the end, and Maryland manages a tough one out. Bruce, you always know that when you win a tough game like that, it improves your confidence. You were down in the tunnel after the game. The kids were extremely happy. Do you sense a change in the mood for our Terp basketball team?
It's a one-game thing, and like Turgeon said, it was a hugger where everybody hugged each other afterwards, and they needed that big time because they would have been 1-3 without it, going to Carolina and Duke next Saturday. Not so great with BC coming in on Tuesday, and wow, if there ever was a classic trap game, BC before Duke and after Carolina. So, and that Maryland cannot, with the way they're scoring, they cannot assume anything that they're going to win. I'm telling you, they have got to find a way to dent the nets. We talked, I was at Turgeon's press conference afterwards, after the game. Charlie, you got that cued, or? All right, we'll get in a minute. And Turgeon, refreshingly honest as always, told the story. 14-10 though, Wayne, with 5 minutes to go. And it was 12-2 after 4 minutes. So they went 9 or 10 minutes.
It happened again. The bottom drops out of the offense. I'm not sure why. The kids can play. It reminds me of a situation, I know you've watched Maryland for a long time. We had a couple of point guards back in the late 70s that were famous for scoring. Dutch Morley and Reggie Jackson came in. Lefty brought them in. They were big scorers. They got here and they just couldn't shoot anymore. It reminds me of watching these kids. The shots are there. They're not going in right now, and that's why the confidence is a big thing, because I think that sooner or later the lights are going to go on. We're going to start making those shots again, and then we'll become unstoppable. I think that's why people say that in March, as we get closer to March, it's going to be a much better team.
That young team thing, I think this is better than a young team. 3 for 18 from the three-point line. They only went to the foul line 8 times. You're not going to score a lot of points when that happens, and probably you're not going to win a lot of games. The shooting must improve. But thankfully, and you and me had a chance to talk to Payshon afterwards, and we both felt great for him because he was really down before that game after the past couple games, and he had a solid game. No, it wasn't a great game. 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 0 turnovers in 20 minutes. So Nick didn't play the point for all 40 minutes or so. He had a solid 20 minutes. And I know you talked to him about the knee situation, and tell everybody what he said.
Well, he said that his knee had an operation, I guess about a year ago, and he's playing without a knee brace now, and that it feels pretty good. I don't think he said great, and that he's happy he's playing without the brace, and maybe he'll make a phone call to RG3 and let him know how that worked out for him. It's not really breaking news. It's a guy who's coming off of some injuries, and he's trying to play point guard at a very high level.
Hey, I got a question for you. Now we get Ravens there all the time. We get, not now, they're in the middle of playing for the championship. Don't want to dig you a little bit, but they are playing for the championship.
There's a football game tomorrow?
Oh yeah.
I packed it all in for the season.
But I mean, you have Harbaugh, he comes, and how come the Redskins never come?
The Redskins, let's see.
You're stretching your mind, I'm telling you, they don't come.
Well, some of them, like Josh Wilson, who has shown up.
Well, he's a Maryland guy, though.
I know, and he also was a Raven.
But I mean,
Clinton Portis came to a couple games, but he's gone from the team now. There is not a lot of Redskins support in College Park. I think a lot of it is because the Redskins keep identifying with Northern Virginia, and they're going to move their training camp to Richmond. So they're a DC team, but they're not really a Maryland
moving
team.
To Richmond?
They're moving.
How much further away could they get from DC than Richmond? They may as well go to Carolina. Anyway, let's move on from that. 2 things. Storm in the court, let's give it each 30 seconds. My take on it is that when you beat a team 10 times out of 11 and you beat them in the 12th game, I'm not sure that calls for storm in the court. Now, Mark Zinno from 105.7, yeah. I know you heard the postgame show. I was on it. He started a firestorm by really attacking it. Again, like I said to him, it was the nature of the game, I think, that caused it to happen. The fact that Alex made that incredible play to win it, and it just kind of fired up the crowd. But I don't see us storming the court for that game.
No, I was a little bit disappointed. It's okay to have it happen one time, and we won a big game. A lot of the kids who were there, I was listening to Chris Nocky talk about it. He said his daughter, who's at Maryland, said, "Hey, Dad, you got to remember a lot of these kids don't know anything about basketball. This is the first big game they've been to." So, okay, I'll give them a pass. I was surprised to see it happen. On the other hand, I look back at the video, and it's just great to see the enthusiasm. It's also the first time that the kids who are playing the game won a game like this on the last shot on TV in an ACC game. So we got a little overhyped. I think if you're a Maryland...
TV energized it too, the fact that ESPN was there and Jay Billis and all the heavyweights. So, and certainly Kevin Plank and Gary Williams.
Hey, it was great to see Gary and the chance of Gary in the backgrounds. I was waiting for a fist pump, but I guess he thought that would upstage.
I don't know, he has this thing about not wanting to get
the first big game they've been to. So, okay, I'll give him a pass. I was surprised to see it happen. On the other hand, I look back at the video, and it's just great to see the enthusiasm. It's also the first time that the kids who are playing the game won a game like this on the last shot on TV in an ACC game. So we got a little overhyped. I think if you're a Maryland...
TV energized it too, the fact that ESPN was there and Jay Billis and all the heavyweights. So, and certainly Kevin Plank and Gary Williams.
Hey, it was great to see Gary and the chance of Gary in the backgrounds. I was waiting for a fist pump, but I guess he thought that would upstage.
I don't know, he has this thing about not wanting to get not wanting to put pressure on Turgeon.
No, he doesn't want to be over involved, and he wants.
I mean, he was in and out of there from the court. It must have been 30 seconds,
Right. I saw him walk down from the suite level towards the court, and I pointed out and said, "Hey, is that Gary?" And then he got closer, and he was going at a pretty good clip for Gary Williams. He was marching right through, and he went right in the tunnel. Then he comes out at halftime because there's a painting of him waving the netting.
What's that, on auction or something?
It's part of the 75 years of the Final Four or something with the NCAA.
Yeah, it's a good, great picture. Turgeon's honesty, let's talk about that a little bit. Now, Turgeon's been accused a little bit of just throwing guys under the bus because he just says, if they're not playing well, he says it. And he made comments the other day that He ran 5 out of bounds plays, and they didn't run it right one time.
0 for
Okay.
5, yeah.
0 for 5. And the only thing he's saying, and I like it because very few coaches say it, is the frustration of the non-connect between a coach and a player. And it happens on any level. Even on the youngest levels, all the way up to the pros, where you talk to a guy, he looks at you, he shakes his head, goes out on the court, and doesn't perform anything of what you say.
Sometimes it even happens on the radio.